All right, this is the Goldmine segment of the podcast where I dig out the small, unexpected lessons hidden in the everyday work of running a business. I'll share one, we'll pull out the takeaway and add it to our shared stash. You know that feeling when you walk away from a conversation, maybe with a client or a colleague or even just a friend, and almost immediately your brain kicks into overdrive? It's like, oh no, did I say the wrong thing? Did that come out too harsh? Should I have just smiled and nodded instead of opening my mouth? That's me a lot of the time. It's been my reality for a lot of my life. I hang up a Zoom call and then 20 minutes later, I'm making lunch and I'm replaying every single word I said. I think, maybe I should have softened that part, or maybe I should have just stayed quiet. And then, of course, my brain does not let go. I'll spiral, sometimes for hours. And the crazy thing is, usually the reason I'm spiraling is because I didn't actually say what I meant in the first place. I was trying way too hard to be the nice lady, not make waves, and keep things light. So, whatever did come out of my mouth, the thing I'm spiraling about, was actually this watered down, half truth version of what I really wanted to say. And when you do that, of course, you're going to walk away second guessing yourself because you know that you left half of it stuck inside. This has been a pattern for me forever. It shows up the most when I have to set a boundary or advocate for myself or say something that I know might disappoint someone. And instead of just saying it clearly, I'll twist myself into a pretzel to try to deliver it nicely. And then, yeah, my anxiety has a field day. But I have been trying to practice a shift and be more aware of all of this because this is no way to run a business and live your life. I've started catching myself in those little turning points in conversations, that exact moment when I know I can either swallow my words or just go for it. And I've been experimenting with choosing that harder path, actually saying what I mean. Not in a bold, aggressive way, just trying to let it out and be real. And it feels so terrifying in the moment. My voice sometimes will actually shake. And when I'm hearing myself, it sounds like I'm stumbling or rambling. It feels like I'm throwing up. Forgive me for being gross about that, but that's how it feels when I'm trying to get the words out that normally I would have stuffed down. And in this practice, what I've been realizing is even when it feels really messy, afterward, the honesty and the ability for me to be able to say how I feel, it feels so much better afterward than holding it back did. And I want to ask you, do you have times where you feel this way when you really hold back in a conversation, especially a business related one? Like you actually walked away from it with all of these things you meant to say or wish you said, and they just didn't come out because you were afraid of being misunderstood or afraid of rocking the boat, and then it kind of ate at you for days. Imagine if you had just said the things, what would have been different? For me, every time I actually get the words out, even if they're clumsy, I think it's getting easier. The spiral afterward gets shorter. And 9 times out of 10, the other person responds so much better than however way I was worried about them responding. And they don't storm away, which is reassuring. They haven't blacklisted me. Usually we'll just keep talking and we get to a solution, an agreement, whatever it may be, more quickly. And typically there's more respect and mutual admiration that comes out of those moments. And that all has been such a revelation for me because my brain is always telling me, don't say it, you'll ruin everything. But that's not the truth. Not saying it was what was ruining things, at least for me internally. All of this still feels so awkward though. Sometimes I literally feel like I'm a toddler learning to speak. Just blurting out a sentence and hoping it lands. But instead of beating myself up for being clumsy in these moments, I'm trying to change my mindset and celebrate. Like, hey, you said it. You were yourself. You showed up as yourself. And I think that counts for something. So I'm throwing this question back to you. Where in your business life or even your normal life are you biting your tongue? Are you afraid other people will react badly to something that might be a point of conflict or might be come across as you being difficult or whatever the fear might be? Where are you letting that fear of judgment keep you from showing up fully? Because again, I'm learning, and maybe this is something you need to hear. Your voice as a business owner, as a person in the world, your voice is a muscle that needs to be exercised. And the only way you can make it stronger and more effective is if you use it regularly and you practice. And being a leader, real leadership, I've learned and I've come to accept that it's not about saying things perfectly. There's no such thing as perfection here. It's about honesty, empathy, and being willing to participate in a conversation, even when you're a little bit wobbly with your voice, even when you're, just learning how to exercise it and strengthen it. So my encouragement for you this week is notice those turning point moments in conversations. If this applies to you, maybe you have already got this down. But whenever you feel the urge to stay quiet or retreat or it's not worth it, ask yourself, what would my authentic self say right now? And then try saying it. It's okay to be messy, imperfect. That's just you being human. Because at the end of the day, your perspective matters, and people can really feel the difference when you're being real, even if it's not polished. The world doesn't need more neat, rehearsed versions of people, the polished social media version. What it needs is you. And that's it for today. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with friends. If you want to reach out, you can always email me, Laryssa, that's Laryssa, @joyjoya.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos for even more tips.